Welcome to the Tennessee South Texas Golf Podcast, episode number 116. Tonight, coming from live out there in Italy, our man, the golf father, out here in San Antonio, Texas, Dave Roberts. That's right, the man, the myth, the legend, Dave Roberts will be on, coming live from Italy. It is 3 a.m. over there right now. It's 3 a.m. Will be at the Ryder Cup over there. I think him and Mike, all right? Dave Roberts, co-host of the Texas Golf Insider, the longest running golf show, I think, in the nation. I'm right. We'll bring Dave right on. All right, guys. But before we get into Dave right here, all right, a word from our sponsor, El Cameo Golf Classic. A South Texas ranch called El Cameo is hosting its first annual El Cameo Golf Classic tournament on November 11th at Almost Basin Golf Course here in San Antonio, Texas. It's a two-man scramble. First and second place teams will receive a cash pot prize as well as other incentives. For more details, make sure you reach out to El Cameo Ranch. That's El Cameo Ranch. You can hit them up at elcameoranch@yahoo.com. All right, now let's bring our man on, Dave Gravy Roberts. Dave, how's it going, my brother?
It's a going, man. Hey, I'm digging the music, Andy. Man, I'm just like, oh yeah, baby.
Hey, dude, shake it, don't break it, bro.
At my age, it might be breaking. I got to put a little STP in my Geritol to get going. You know,
man, what I'm saying? Dude. Okay, so like, I have no problem, getting down. I remember that video you had, the clip of you had when you're out with your boys out there. I think in New Mexico, right? Or you're out in New Mexico. You roll down that hill. You know what? Yeah. The rolling down, that's the easy part.
Yeah, that's the easy part. Getting back up, if not falling back down, because they say weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. So, yeah, that was fun. That's part of my Fireball 7 group. And, it's just having a little fun in golf. And that's what we're all, everybody's probably wondering what's going down. They see my Facebook pages and stuff like that. But I'm on a mission right now with the Air Force to grow golf around the world, not only with the juniors, but the PGA Hope program, which is the veterans. And it's a PGA and VA sponsored thing. And somehow, I don't know, Andy, the golf gods put it all together. I just left England. I'm now in Italy, and it just happens to be the week of the Ryder Cup. And then next week, of course, I'll be in Germany for Oktoberfest. I don't know how this happens, but you know what? The golf father deserves it.
Yes. MG. Damn, Daddy. I don't know if you're coming back.
I don't know, man. If the government shuts down, I'm stuck over here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Dave, I think, you know what? I don't think I'm not too sure if everybody knows you. If they're involved in the golf game here in San Antonio, they know you some shape or form, but not just maybe the casual golfer, the new golfer, right? And man, you are the perfect guy to grow the game. I mean, man, dude, you got energy. You got energy for days. I mean, the energy is just glowing. If you were a female, I'd say you're pregnant, right? I mean, you're just glowing. And you really bring so many people to the game of golf through your work in PGA Hope, the ST, the South Texas, what is it? Help me out. The STPGA.
Yeah, the STPGA junior program. I'm one of the golf managers for that. I've been that for 15 seasons now. And yeah.
Yeah. And you do so much, so much to grow the game. I think if anybody deserves the title for being, the best golf, grower of the game, it's got to, especially for here in San Antonio or South Texas, it's got to be Dave Roberts.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm just giving back to what gave to me because, I'm also a disabled veteran. Don't know if you know that, but when I was overseas and back in the States, golf was my therapy due to the things that, we did in the military. And I was able to become a golf pro back in 1988. While I was still in the military playing, barbecue events and trying out mini tours and things like that. I was like the military version of Casey Carnes. And
don't say that name. Don't say that name around South Texas because, people, they'll love you or hate you.
That's okay. You know what? I'm the gummy bear golf pro now, so I'm all about love. You know what I'm saying? So I just turned 60 in August, so it's time for me to give it on back. And I tell people I'm in the fourth quarter of my life, but not the 2-minute warning. So I'm going to keep running 100 miles an hour on the 55-mile-an-hour plan. I'm going to continue with the junior golf. I'm going to do it with our veterans, our seniors, and, help. We got a great team at Air Force Golf with Chris Bowles and Justin Wheeler, our agronomist, who can grow grass in a he can do it in a mailbox with the lid closed and no water. And
Justin Wheeler's back with y'all?
yes, Justin Wheeler's back with us. Oh yeah, Lefty.
Oh my
And
gosh,
Al
man.
Holbrecht, we got a great team where we kind of consult and, oversee 55 courses around the world. And that's why I do what I do for this job. But my passion is the juniors because that's the beginning. It's the ecosystem. If we can get them going and get them in the right direction and get them, because they're so impressionable at this age. We're doing the Payne Stewart golf program. We're working closely with the Payne Stewart family, Tracy Stewart and them. And then that's what has led me here overseas because Lakenheath here in England that I was just at was the first international Payne Stewart base, and Aviano in Italy. We're going to be heading down to Venice right by there. Will be the second base, and of course over in Frankfurt we have Ramstein. They'll be the first 3 Payne Stewart bases internationally, but also the first 3 PGA Hope bases internationally.
Wow, that is amazing. And Payne Stewart was just, gone too soon. Gone too soon. I had the privilege to travel when we took a trip with my girls to Orlando to Disney over there, right to Disney World. I had the privilege to play out there, play the Magnolia course, and to see, because he was one of the past champions, and to see the players' locker room, and to see, his enclosed, his Kate, right, his old locker, and they had a pair of his knickers in there. They had his hat, they had those top flight knickers, right? It was great. That is tremendous, and that's awesome that his widow is able to still give back to a game that he was a huge part of.
Well, thanks, because the whole foundation is about faith, family, and fun, and we have the things like First Tee and who also do life lessons, and that's part of this curriculum too. But this program, Andy, is like a T-ball for golf. It gets you kick-started to getting into the real clubs, and we just had 34 youth in the middle of a rainstorm at Lakenheath down in England participate in an open house, and it was just something to be. You get overwhelmed at that and see the response that, our great game. It's not, cigar smoking old fogies with cardigan sweaters and, there's more to it than that. And so it's really, really exciting to see the youth and then get the parents involved. And I think that's just so important. But that's what that is. But you got me here for another reason. Other passion.
I got you here for another reason. But before we get into that Ryder Cup, I got a question. How's my boy Ty doing? How's he doing?
Ty's doing fine. He's doing great. They're about to leave off to Florida later in the week. They're going to participate in a golf tournament. We got a couple of them. They're going to also go to Bermuda and play in an event. Matter of fact, his coach asked me if I wanted to be an assistant coach because, he sees what I do. And, but Ty's a big boy. He's got Quade Woods with him, who was his middle school and high school teammate at Canyon. So, they're romping the fairways together across the country. And, you know what, Andy, the most important part about the whole thing is Ty now has a 4.0 grade point average. And,
wow.
That's a proud papa moment right there. And, because, only so many people make it on tour. We know that. But to have a second plan B, he wants to be a broadcast journalist. So he's going to be like following me and you and Mike Ratchman. And,
oh, man, we're going to be working for that guy, dude. He's a stud, dude. I was when I had him on the show, I was like, here, take my job.
Well, it's really crazy is because I might lose him next summer because the Golf Channel and NBC Universal was asking him if he would be interested in the internship for the summer.
That's lovely. That's beautiful. And that's great to hear because I know I had several questions. And like I said, I know I have you on here, for the Ryder Cup and to give us updates and to get your take on it and to discuss all things Ryder Cup. But I have a lot of people constantly asking me and asking, here on San Antonio golfers around how are they able and how are you able? Because I know you put a lot of work. You put a lot of work in, and Ty had over 100 and something wins. What was his win total in junior golf?
128 wins, and he beat Patrick Reed's scoring record when he shot 64-64 at Breckenridge. And he is the only junior in South Texas PGA history to have all 3 majors in his hand at one time.
See, and that's all he did. That's it.
Well, he played a little baseball and he played a little basketball, but in school, it was one of those things, son, what do you want to do? And, at that point you say, okay, you want to become a professional golfer or give your hand at it. Then these are the routes we got to go. Now, if you just want to be a high school golfer and then do something else, then we could do this route and you can do this. But don't get me wrong, the kid builds computers. The kid is very smart. I think he got that from his mom's side because he didn't get it from my side. He just got the golf from me. But he's very proficient in basketball. He played basketball actually in middle school for Canyon High. But he said, Dad, I want to focus on golf. I want to go after Jimmy Walker's records, which he did. And if you go into the Canyon gym ever at Canyon High School, go look up at the banners. He has his own banner now for the things and the accomplishments that he did for the school and for the South Texas PGA.
And I mean that, and it's tremendous, and everything he got here, and he did it with some help along the way, but it was ultimately all his work, right? All his work and all his doing. But one thing a lot of people always ask me is that how can they get their child, or what are some things they can do to get their child seen? Because I've spoken to several kids that are playing, and I'm not going to say lesser college, that's not what I mean, but some smaller schools. Kane Ibata for one, that played at Our Lady of the Lake, who's going through some of the mini tour routes to try to make it right now.
Right.
And I've had his coach Arnie Martinez on the show, who's the head coach there at Our Lady of the Lake University.
Right.
And Kane mentioned one thing to me, is that he said he wished he could have done a better job when he was coming up the ranks to market himself and to put himself out there. So what is maybe something that these kids now can do, or their parents can help them to get seen and to get those opportunities?
Well, it is marketing, but it's also the teaching professional as well. He needs to be a big part of this because he is marketing. I mean, and you said it right. It's marketing the kid. NCSA, which is Next College Scholar Athlete, is a great website that they can join, and you have access to every college coach assistant literally in the world. But you have to do your dreams. And what we did is we did a dream board. We took the top 120 Division I, top 20 Division IIs and IIIs, and then we cut it down to what has the ability to give you your degree that you want, and narrowed it down. And, Ty had offers from some bigger schools, but Alabama State says, hey, you're going to play. You're going to get a degree. You're not going to sit on the bench for a year and a half because I have my top 5. We're bringing you here for a reason. And right now he's starting to grow into a leadership role. He shot 500 at Quail Hollow before the President's Cup. And, coach changed his swing a little, and we had to change that back. And then I had to talk to coach, tell him I am the coach. He shot 73 last round at Shoal Creek with 3 putts. And I mean, the greens were running faster than a pickpocket, man. They were about 13. And the PGA of America has sent him a letter saying that if you wanted to be like your dad, yada, 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 your player's ability test is now good forever. So he has opportunities, and he's talked about it. He met with the incoming president, Don Ray, of the PGA, and they discussed things. And Ty has now put that in his third route of becoming a PGA professional, maybe running a club or a director of instruction. Because Andy, he has retained a lot, and he's picked up a lot of things. I'm his instructor. I've been it all my life, but we've had help from Casey has helped him out a little bit. He worked with David Overend for a while. But I think in the marketing part, you've got to get them out of the social medias. You've got to get the kids to, and this is where the important part is, and it's no matter who it is, okay, is when you pick the college and you write that first letter to that coach and you send that video, the fortune is in the follow-up. You have to follow up, and you have to, because they get so many. And that was one thing we were able to do. And actually, I didn't know that the Alabama State coach had went to one of Ty's tournaments and watched them shoot 65. They flew in, and I had no clue. And then finally he told me the story. I said, oh, you're the guy that I told you needed to back off.
You're the one that gave him a warning, right? You gave him a verbal over there.
Well, we were on the driving range, and there was this guy taking notes, and we're like, "Hey, dude, give it a rest. These guys are playing."
I see. You got the headset on. Where you like, hey, let's keep an eye on security. Let's keep an eye on this guy.
But what?
Did you call for backup? That's what I did. Did you call for backup?
I didn't have to. The coach understood because he understood that the coach, it's going that way, and but we've had a lot of coaches coming in and out and to his life, but Ty picked it for a reason, and he is a Hornet for life, and I'm proud of not only, like I said, his golf accomplishments, especially after he beat that kid last year 9-7. That was totally great, but I think that his school and his 4.0 is totally awesome. And then, of course, him and I are bantering this week because his favorite player is Rory McIlroy. So,
okay, I'm a Rory guy too. All right, I'm a Rory guy, and this is where, as we get into the Ryder Cup, everybody, I mean, the heavy favorite, right? I mean, the USA is a huge favorite. USA is a huge favorite. Zach Johnson, ZJ, I love the guy because being a small podcast, being starting from the ground up. And I always tell everybody asks, oh, everybody's got a podcast nowadays, right? Everyone's got one, right? My grandma's got one. Everybody's got one, right? But I tell people when I started in 2018, they're like, oh, you're one of those people. Like you're still here. Right. And so anybody who gives me time at the Valero Open, like, I love you forever, right? Because a lot of times I remember Graham McDowell. I said, hey, Graham McDowell, Andy thought his Nothing is OB Golf podcast. He kept walking. So I'm like, Graham, he is on like the hate list forever. Joaquin Newman, he goes, what is OB? What is this? What is OB? And I'm like, dog, come on, dog, out of bounds, bro. You know what? I'm out. I'm like, I got mad. I was like, I'm out of here, man. And so Zach Johnson gave me some good time when he was here last year. And so I so root for him, right? One of the hot topics was, his selection, his captain's picks. And I'm sure as long as you've been in the game, these are huge, right? These captain's picks are always the ones that kind of make or break. And especially since we have not won on European soil since 1993. Since 1993, it's been, so what is that? That's 30 years, right? Yes. 30 years that the United States has not won on European soil. So how would you say, with dealing with all the, the hard takes and everything that's given Zach Johnson, how do you think he came out with his captain's picks?
Well, everybody's, and I'm one of them too, until I looked at something before I, did my other show tonight. I've got a little record here and I brought it for you tonight, but everybody's talking about Justin Thomas. That wasn't a good pick. He's not playing very well, but he did, in the the Fortnite tournament, he came in, really high with my guy Sahith Theila. That's been my dog all year long. But the captain pick for him with Justin Thomas, folks. What you don't get is Justin Thomas is 6'2" in Ryder Cup action. That is better than any of the players on the European side. The next guy that's even close is Tommy Fleetwood is 4-2-2, and Justin Rose at 3-8-2. My guy Rory, because I like him. I picked him for the Masters and stuff because I'd like to see that completion. He's 12-12-4. So I think that was a good pick. I'm really still questioning Sam Burns because Sam Burns was great last year, but this year he kind of tailed off. I would have been more with Lucas Glover, who won 2 of the last 3 events. I mean, the guy was hotter than a pistol.
Thank you. And he was swamp ass to death out there. He was.
Yeah, and and the guy, and guys, if this is a funny thing, but at my old golf course at Northcliffe, if you go to the front porch, it's still there because they haven't torn down the clubhouse yet. But Lucas Glover is actually, as you walked in and looked left, if you went up the stairs, his mural is right there. That's Lucas Glover when he was younger.
OMG.
Yeah.
What's his tie? So what's his tie to Northcliffe?
There is no tie to Northcliffe. It's just that
it's just the golf painting.
In 2010, when I came there and he wanted a golfer and we painted somebody, and the next thing you know, I was showing him pictures and Lucas Glover was in this picture, and he even the guy who did the artwork for it even got down to the point to putting a little Nike swoosh on the back of his pants. I mean, it was really awesome. But I know it's Lucas Glover. It looks cool as the mural, but I was voting for him. I think that he deserved it, not just because of his age, but I mean, come on, man. After what his wife did to him a couple of years ago, saying you need to make more money, the dude stepped up the game because, and
and that's great. That's great. And okay. So he's sponsored by, at least on the polo, it says Link Soul. And I had the privilege back in March to play with John Ashworth, the owner of Link Soul, and Matt Janella out at their home course out at Goat Hill in Oceanside, California. And so, I message. So, I don't have his phone number, but I have Matt Janella's, but I have, John Ashworth and I, we message each other on Instagram back and forth. Good dude, like surfer type, very, very Zen type.
Yes. Laid back.
Late. I mean, like cool is the other side of the pillow, right? Just like super cool dude. I almost want to tell him, I'm like, I want to ask, what, did you just sponsor his shirt or did you sponsor his pants too? But let's get this dude some Moisture Wick like pants. I mean, this guy's like a millionaire. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm getting swamp ass every day out there on the course right now too. But I'm like, man, let's get this guy some proper gear.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be sweating on TV in places that are not shown that are rated R. You know what I'm saying? He's becoming the rated R superstar.
He has, right? He has. And I agree with you there, not only because, we're around the same age and that guy's, he's got a great story, but a little bit older guy, coming in super hot, but some guys, and I listen to all these golf podcasts, right? I listen to all these golf podcasts and I just don't know how you can be an American and root for Europe. I'm not down with that. I'm really not.
Well, the reason is because you take and look at all the people that are on the European. You take Tommy Fleetwood, Victor Hovland, Rory, John Rahm, Justin Rose. You go as far as even Straka. They all live in Florida or Arizona. They play on our tour, right? So you're seeing them daily.
That's right.
Guys that are like McIntyre and Hogard and Arbor, you don't see those guys. And so but some of these guys, Tommy Fleetwood got the hair, man. I'm telling you, I look like Charlie Brown in a midlife crisis, dude. I wish I had that hair, right? But you got that guy, Tyrell Hatton. He's that blue collar worker, that everyday guy. You think he's like he's like the plumber that came and played professional golf, And so you kind of root for them in a way. But I'll tell you why I always because they dress so fine. Today was a practice round for them, and it was photo day. They're wearing white shirts with yellow stripes. They're looking totally awesome. What do we look like? We look like a red shirt that came from Target.
Target.
It's
AutoZone. Excuse me, sir. Can you point me to the dollar section? Can you point me to the dollar deals?
And so I'm thinking, is Zach Johnson going to put some black with a little lime green on it and look like the front counter guy at Taco Cabana, or what are we gonna do here?
You get some Corey Pavin vibes out there. You get some Corey Pavin vibes out there, or what?
Oh yeah, it looks like, you remember when Crenshaw and them guys got them nasty looking shirts, right? We're just like, and then the European tour is so much flair with their clothes, and so take a look at some of the clothes. I got a couple of previews. Some of the gear that's going to be worn, and it's going to be beautiful out here because it's going to be 82 degrees. So we're not worrying about it. Usually when you come over the pond, like when I was in England, high was 70. We were at 51 in the morning, and that's what you think of open weather, Ryder Cup. But over there, it's going to be 82 degrees. It's going to be like 68 degrees overnight. It will be windy a couple of the days, but those guys are good. So we don't worry about that. And you're going to see some really cool looking gear. Now, I've seen the American gear too. I'm just, I'm one of those guys. Look what you're wearing. Look what I'm wearing, man. Look, I got stars and stripes all the way. Oh, I'm pissing off a lot of people. Hey, I learned a new word. Matter of fact, when I was in England, I was having a discussion about the Ryder Cup, and I was trying to make a bet. I do have a $100 bet. And the guy gave me a 1.5, and I tried to give that to Ratchman, but he wouldn't take it. But I learned that when English people, they get a little heated, it's called chippy. And the guy says, mate, you're getting a little chippy. And I'm like, what? And then the other guy called me a bloke, and I was like, dude, you're like talking foreign. I'm from Texas, okay? I'm going to call you a pendejo, and you're going to get, you're going to go with this. And he's like, but I'm learning some language, and so it's going to be rowdy over there. It's at the venue. As you can see, I'm in my hotel 3 a.m. I mean, nothing's open, but I think you got to look good to play good. When you go out there and play with the FOREBROS and stuff, you're always looking tight. I see y'all's clothes.
I agree. It's like a fashion show. It's like a runway. It's like what is it? The catwalk, right? With FOREBROS, it's a catwalk.
When I first started playing professional golf, I was told to dress like flares because you want to be dressing like a pimp but not get laughed at. You know what I'm saying? And so you've got to have the color, and I don't know. I just think the Europeans they get us on the outdressing us.
Well, this is one thing I say as a middle school coach and coach. I have coached in high school as well. Is one thing I've learned is that you look good, feel good, play good, and then if you didn't play good, damn, you still look good.
Still look good.
I was like, man, I shot a 99 today, but God, did you see my J's? Did you see my polo? Did you see my hat? Yeah. Like, gosh, dog, like I look so good I could play another 18. It's like my game can't support it, but you know what? My clothes surely can.
Well, tomorrow morning when I finally wake back up and you'll be asleep, but I'll, know you weren't last night, but I'll send a picture of Ty and his kicks, man. They are wild. It's black and gold with a hornet on it and the USA flag. And I'm like, dude, you look like got Indicon Johnson. You going to the Night at Apollo or what?
Well, shoot, man. Tell us a little bit about the course over there, because you know what? A lot of times we think of European soil, right? We're thinking of Europe, we're thinking of Britain, we're thinking of England, we're thinking of Paris, but the course is going to be playing out there in Marco Simone in Rome, Italy. And you said it perfectly right there. The temperature is going to be 82. So is this maybe a Ryder Cup or is this maybe a course that might favor us or maybe feel a little bit more like home to the United States team?
You hit that on the head, Andy. Totally on the head. I played a course earlier this week. It's called the Flinton 9-hole course. They only allow you to play like the 4-ball or a foursome, and there are difference between a 4-ball and foursome. And it was built in 1895, and you can tell it's that. The course they're playing this week is a little bit more modernized. It still has some of the old stuff. But when you think of like what you're talking about, you're talking about where you have several shots where you can run it up, roll it up, fly it up. You can just do many things. This one's more a modern traditional. That would be a great word, modern traditional golf course. And so I think it actually does favor the Americans on this course.
And that's something that we really want to see. And I had some, getting some of those Ryder Cup vibes with the Solheim Cup and wanting to see the women do it. And I know you kept up with it too. It was so annoying. It was so annoying because we were right there. You had girls, you had Korda battle back, you had Ewing battle back. I can't remember the girl, or maybe Ewing was the one that gave up the lead. And then you had one of those players from Europe just get stupid hot.
Yes.
Making, an older player. And I think that's where a lot of times I do see the side of Zach Johnson, because you're not trying to take the best players. You're trying to take and build the best team. And I'm sure you know that from seeing all your work in junior golf, being in the military, the team that you belong to right now for your current job, that it might, you can't have all MJs. You can't have all Kobe's. You cannot, right? You need those, Ron Artest. You need those Gary Paytons, right? You need the John Stocktons. You need the guys that are going to do the dirty work, guys that are going to do the things and that you can count on, and that can be chameleons and that can just pair up with anybody, or it can be the supporters that, hey, they pair well, with somebody's long game, right? Their putting, their knowledge, or this the team guy. And I think that's one thing I do give Zach Johnson, that I think he tried to build the best team and not just take like the hottest or the best players.
Right, and you look at the formats; they dictate that. For everybody who doesn't know what a foursome is, y'all better know it as alternate shot. Okay, you've got to have that guy that can be in play, and you got to get the guy that's going to bomb it. So, like if you have a Brooks Koepka, whose record is 6-5-1, and he had an interesting quote today about to his live guys. But you take a Brooks Koepka who's a bomber, right? Before his back all went out. And you put him with a guy like Xander Schauffele, who can hit it long, but the guy is pretty straight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
not very long, but straight.
Yeah, but longer than both of you and I. So I'm going to call that long. So you take that, or you take a Max Homa, who predominantly, is in the 60% range of hitting fairways. Okay. When it gets to that alternate shot, that is so important. In the four ball, which is probably the first thing going off, which guys, four ball is everybody plays their own ball and the best score counts. Again, you got to have a good mix. And I think that's one of the things with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. They're such good teammates together. I think that's going to work. One of the things that I'm very interested in seeing, because Ricky Fowler doesn't have a very good record. He's a 3-7-5. And earlier today, and I got a lot of flack from Adam Gross, who's the PGA professional. He's actually over here as well. Ricky Fowler, even though he's 3-7-5, Ricky Fowler, to me, is going to be the Lexi Thompson of this Ryder Cup. He's going to surprise you. I mean, his rebirth, winning the Rocket Mortgage, finishing, top. I always used to say the wedding ring ruins your game. And you look at some of the guys like Jordan and Justin and all them other guys. Once they did it, Rory, they got married. Then all of a sudden their game went to pot. And then, now it's coming back. But I think Ricky Fowler is going to surprise a lot of people. And I'd like to see, this would be a good team for me. Ricky Fowler and Wyndham Clark. I think that would be a very, very good team.
We're right there. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm not just saying that because, you are Dave Roberts, right? I'm not just saying that because you are the golf father, or as Douglas Carlton says right here, Super Dave Roberts. I don't know. I think maybe you're the Diesel Dave Roberts, all right? But I do think that that's a great pair, and I love, Ricky is the modern day Arnold Palmer, right? I mean, would you all agree? Everybody loves him, and I love the guy that stays out late. That he stayed out late after his win to go out there and sign autographs. And I mean, he is just somebody that just how can you not root for him, right? And I mean, everybody loves a comeback story, right? Everybody loves the underdog, and to see him get back here, like, I mean, it just. When Ricky's playing well, it seems like all is well in the game of golf, right? At least, especially for the United States side. And it's been great to see him and Lexi. Hey, they're the Puma, right? They're the Cobra. They're the Puma people. And it's great to see. I think they're cut from the same cloth. And Lexi had a great Solheim Cup, and I'm hoping the same for Ricky. I'm hoping he can be that guy. He could be like, just kind of like Lexi was for the United States. Kind of like that anchor, right? That last person that rock you can lean on. And man, I think I have a feeling we're going to do it. I have a feeling they're going to break the 30-year curse. They're going to bring that cup back. I think this is going to change. It's going to change some things for the European team. I really think it is how they do things.
Well, let me give you a stat. Okay, this is a pretty cool stat. Now, each team has 4 rookies. They got Burns, Clark, Harmon, and Homa, right? And across the pond is Albert, Hoggard, McIntyre, and Straka. You take those guys away because they haven't played a match. Okay, and you take the existing team right now. Okay, the U.S. is 34, 22, and 13, where the European Tour is 36, 39, and 12. Okay. So if you're looking on paper and past performances, this could be a walk for the U.S. But I think what happened 2 years ago showed that our young guns, the Scotty Schefflers and the Colin Morikawas of the world, Patrick Cantleys, I mean, they're – in the olden days, you're just excited to be there. These guys want to win. But I think, when we go back to Ricky Fowler, I think he's going to take Patrick Reed's place as the emotional leader. His commercial appeal worldwide is totally awesome. He will be the guy that offsets like a Sam Burns or a Brian Harmon, right? Because they're just, to themselves. and you got those guys over there like Rory and John Rahm, they're out there. Their name's out there. They talk. Victor Hovland, I mean, somebody needs to give him a Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding if that putter gets rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Just a little clip of the knee, right? Just a little clip.
A little clip of the knee. Take a knee, baby. And but you got a guy like Matt Fitzpatrick, and everybody's kind of grown to love him a little bit. But the guy is 0-5 in Ryder Cup.
That's okay. Bring that record. I'm welcoming that record. I'm welcoming that record because it's been. European has been a thorn. I'm 43 years old. And so for the past 30 years, whenever they're over there, it almost seems like it's a real Ryder Cup when you are across the pond, right? It seems, you tell me, you're there. How is the energy? The energy
is great.
It's got to be amazing. It's got to be amazing over there.
It is. You go into a bar right now or a place and it's talking. So I can only imagine what's going to happen Thursday night and Friday night after the first round. But I want to give you a quick stat right quick. I'm all about, because I just believe in the numbers.
You're the stat man. You're the stat man.
It's kind of like Moneyball. Did you know that Victor Hovland is 0-3-2 in Ryder Cups?
I believe it though. I think Victor Hovland is, I mean, he's been
a good stroke play guy, but not a very good match play guy.
Well, this year it was great to see him kind of cash in on some of those, because he had been known for not finishing, not being a Sunday guy, right? He had been in those last pairings, and it's nice to see him because I was lucky enough to watch the Driven, the golf channel produced by Ricky Fowler about the Oklahoma State team, and that team was just loaded. Him, Matthew Wolf, that other kid who was like the Canadians' #1, ranked player. And it was amazing to see that. I mean, these guys were just like, that Oklahoma State has like horses, right? And it's great to see him, the young talent in play and see that talent can kind of, translate over from college, because it doesn't always happen from college to the pros.
Right. And that's the great thing about golf, and you take a classic example. Tiger Woods and Steve Scott had a great match in the U.S. Amateur. I mean, it was just like totally one of the ultimates. And Steve Scott never made it out on tour.
What happened to him? Exactly, and Steve Scott, a gentleman, right? I mean, he a great guy, and he did everything that you're supposed to do in the game of golf. He told Tiger to move his marker back right after moving it to the side, which is something that you might not get at every sport, right? You're like, no, it's on him to remember. And I'm like, no, this is at the end of the day, this is a gentleman's game. And but these gentlemen are going to go to battle this week. And I think that's one thing we want to see, is that we want to see a great match. That's one thing I saw at the Solheim Cup. I saw it come down to the last day, and like you didn't know. You didn't know. I think that's one thing. That's one of the issues that had been brought and that people were talking about. Should the Solheim Cup and the Ryder Cup be played at the same venue? What are your thoughts?
No, that would be very taxing on the golf course. And plus, if you take it to the ladies' venues, they're different because ours are more lengthy that we're playing. They're not playing at the length, but that would just be too taxing on the golf course, because you got to remember they've got to close these golf courses way in advance to prepare. That's kind of like when we held the U.S. Junior Girls Amateur at the Air Force Academy. It was closed a couple of weeks ahead of time. So just think about it. If you're putting two major events and then you're turning it over 1 week to the other, so you're tearing all this stuff down, and it's easier to tear down the Alamo Dome for a game, for a UTSA game, and then go to a high school game. Now you're tearing a whole venue down. You're tearing all the marketing down. You're tearing all of this down, all the logistics, hotels, all that plays in it. But you know what, Andy, when you have them at two different venues, it just broadens the game. It just broadens the game. But what I would like to see is that when the guys are over here, the girls are in the States.
That's good. That's great. I like that. And I was just thinking
why should one or the other sides have the full blown of the Solheim Cup and the Ryder Cup at the same time? And Ty was at the Solheim Cup 2 years ago following Lexi and a couple of the other ladies, and he goes, "Dad, you could just feel it." And that's what I'm going to get. I'm excited just to feel that and hear the roars and the rumblings. And, you're going to have your jerks out there that are going to do what they do. But, in spirit, everybody's there for the good of the game. And I mean, this is like the Ryder Cup is like the World Cup soccer of golf. That's the way I see this, man. It's like, and I even got like some paint for my face if I choose to.
I thought you were going to say body paint.
No. Look, I'm rounder than a quarter pounder. We're not showing off the wares, baby. And McDonald's definitely,
Hey, you have a shape, right? You are shaped.
Yes, I am shaped. It is round. It is rounder than a quarter pounder. But no, I got this shirt right here, and I got another shirt, and I got some little face paint for some things. And
any wigs? Any wigs?
No, I didn't bring any wigs this time. We didn't want to do Dave 316 out there. You know what I'm saying? You're like
the Lee Corso of golf. That's what you are. You're like the headgear. You got all the headgears for golf, right? Well, you make it fun. All right, Dave. So what? I mean, we know Ty's favorite golfer is Rory. What's one guy from each team that you're really looking forward to see? Maybe on that Sunday, that last match that you would love to see it come down to.
You really want to know this?
I want to know. I want to know.
My final pick. Okay, so let's go. We're doing singles, right? And they're doing the NBA draft, and they're going through, and it's all exciting. I want Brooks Koepka versus Rory McIlroy. Live versus PGA Tour. Oh, that would be like the coolest. I mean,
it won't. They won't do it.
Ken Venturi would come out of his grave to call that match right there, baby. Let me tell you that right. But see, that's the kind of tour director I am. I'll put like Tommy Fleetwood against Ricky Fowler, and they can show off each other's hair, things like that. But I think like Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, that would be a good one right there. And then I'd like to see John Rahm, John Rahm versus Scotty Scheffler.
Man, okay, but see,
I could be a Ryder Cup captain.
I love that, dude. I don't know if you can see it. You're giving me goosebumps over here, bro. Damn. See, and this is why, I don't know how many thousands of miles away, but this is why I wanted you on the show. But I'm glad. Hey, you know what?
I'm actually
you forced yourself.
But I'm 4,600 miles from home, right?
You really just for those of you that don't know, I'm getting home late from my second job, and I'm just trying to unwind and relax. And I get a late night booty call text, right? At a late night text, and it's a golf booty call because it's from Dave, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here in Italy. You know what? This and this. Oh, I'm like this. Okay, rub it in my face. Thanks, ass. Right? So I'm like, rub it in my face, and he's like, "Hey, do you want me to be on the show?" I'm like, I'm like this. I'm like, is something going on? Is your phone messed up? Did somebody steal it? Did you leave it in one of the trolleys over there? Something, right? And Dave tells me, I'll be on the show for you from Italy. And I'm like, bro, I mean, how can I? It's almost like dating a supermodel, going out with a supermodel. What am I gonna say? Nah, man, I have somebody better.
And you probably do, but Andy, and you got a lot of great listeners out there. I watch all the time. I pop in and out all the time, and then I watch reruns and stuff when I'm available because our show is right before yours.
Oh yeah, man, always, man, I always. Do
and
the same
and I see you pop in, and Jeremiah and all them guys. They're the craziest guys, man. And you've come a long way. 2018, you stuck with it. Again, it's part of my giving back. I mean, you're kind of like my little brother, and why not? I've seen you go to you went to, over there at the Valero Texas Open, and you're doing all these things. I'm fortunate enough to come here and do this for my show. Why can't I do it for your show?
Oh man, and I appreciate you, man, and everybody loves you, and we're always looking for the people to say something bad about you, but they don't want to come out. They're hiding. All those guys are hiding, right?
The only people gonna say something bad about me is at the White House, and we ain't talking about them. Again, right. Because it's about the love of the game, and everybody knows that I have been in touch with throughout my career, which started in 1988. That I love my game and I love people, and I find the good in people, even though I've been on the bad end of a couple of deals throughout my career. But at the end of the day, Andy, I'm blessed. Okay. After serving my country, I have a job in my passion. Okay. And not a lot of people can have that, and it's not about the money. Okay. Because everybody thinks, oh, you're a golf pro, you make all the tons of jack. It's about giving back and watching people grow, whether it's the 92-year-old guy who plays 9 holes a week at Fort Sam with the extra long tee that's about that big and can't bend over, or it's that 5 or 6-year-old on the driving range with his dad's club bigger than him, trying to hit that ball and just seeing that connection. That's what makes Dave Roberts go around. And then I'm fortunate enough for the last 17 years having the longest running golf show in the state of Texas with Mike Ratchman. I mean, I've been with him longer than 3 marriages. You know what I'm saying?
He's been there longer. He's
been there longer, right? But I'm able to give back and promote our great game. We have a very special game. You've mentioned it earlier in the show, that we're one of the only games that please ourselves. We have honor and integrity in our game. And if there's not any honor and integrity, you know as well as I do, they get called out. And so I'm part of something that's bigger than Dave Roberts. I'm just happy that I actually can play a part of that, if that really makes any sense.
It makes total sense, Dave. And you know what? You are the perfect ambassador. Like I said, we're looking for people out there that has something negative to say about you. You do so much. You give so much back. You are golf, especially for here in the South Texas area, the San Antonio and greater San Antonio area. You are the biggest golf ambassador. And I don't know where this game would be without you, Dave. And thank you so much for being on. The last thing, Dave. All right. So what is your prediction of the score for the 2023 Ryder Cup out there in Marco Simone, Rome, Italy?
I'm going to say it's going to go down to 15-13 United States. It will be close, only because, I see some things that we haven't discussed on here, but 15-13 will probably be the final. Well, we're going to retain the cup, and then next year I'll see. Well, 2 years from now, I'll see what I can do. Maybe you and I could take a road trip to the Ryder Cup in the United States.
I'm ready. I'm ready. My friends call me Little Caesar.
Little Caesar, not like the pizza, folks.
Because no, it is because I'm hot and ready and very reasonably priced.
Okay, well, you're deliverable. No.
Dave, stay on real quick as I close up, brother, because I just want to give you a kiss goodnight, all right? Hey, guys, that is Dave Roberts. That is the Golf Father. Thanks so much, Dave. He is live from Rome, Italy. We wish you nothing but the best. Enjoy it. Live it up. And like I said, stay on here real quick for a minute.
Okay.
Man, Dave is awesome. Dave is the man. That, again, and I'm not just kissing his ass right here because he did a spot on the show. He is the biggest ambassador for golf here in the South Texas area. I'd like to thank my presenting sponsor, FOREBROS Tour. Never golf alone again. Make sure you hit us up on Unknown Golf, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are on all the social media platforms, making fools of ourselves. We take $0. We take no admin fees, no fees off the top, no membership dues. We give it all back to you. Every penny we collect, all of our members have every possibility or every chance to win their money and then some back. FOREBROS Tour, never golf alone again. All right, guys. That was Dave Roberts. Andy Thought Nothing is OB South Texas Golf Podcast. Please continue to support the show. I got to get back on here in 7 minutes to have another show. All right. I love y'all. Stay kind. Treat everybody